Now, I wanted to talk to you about like themes and sales that I've been seeing lately. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago, but now that you're here, do you want to introduce yourself or you want me to introduce you or you just want to keep it as Jim?
I'll go for the full Monty here. I'm
Okay.
Jim Lindley. I spent almost 30 years in commission sales, 12 years with a company called Coast Envelope Company. We were a division of Hammermill Paper Company. And then Hammermill was actually sold out to International Paper. So worked 8 years under that regime and then ended up starting a new company when International Paper decided to close our division out after 75 years. Started a company called WordPack along with two other gentlemen here in San Diego, which is still going on today, and did that for about 9 years. And we were in the converted paper goods division, where we would do anything that had to be die cut, printed, folded, and glued. So that's where my specialty lies in.
So, what's interesting and the reason why I was asking Jim to come talk with us today is that with so much digital stuff in the last few years, I'm seeing a shift amongst high school students, middle schoolers, college people, and even just adults in general want to get away from so much digital stuff and get back into the paper. So I've seen a lot of people be interested in calligraphy and cursive and watercolors. And I've seen kids with like those Polaroid, they have a new Polaroid format, they're little square ones. I've seen the kids be interested in that. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about the trends and the themes that keep coming back, having seen a lot of that back in the paper business before things went so digital.
Oh yeah, I see it. I still think people like to see, to touch, and to feel. I'm a believer of that, and I know with the digital format now that has changed a lot, and I sense it coming back. We did a lot of work with companies. We're in mass mailings and such, the quote and junk mail, and which if you check your mailbox recently, it's seeming to come back in that because there is life there.
Oh yeah.
um, and it's all the data that's accumulated through a lot of the data processing organizations that are scrolling through zip codes and income and everything else. That stuff to me is all coming back. It's just coming back at a slower rate. But again, I still think people like to touch, to feel, and like to read it. But I'm old school.
Yeah, I feel that, but I'm seeing those trends emerging with other people that aren't so old school. And I was in Hawaii over the summer and I went into a photography shop and they had all the old film and all the old cameras and it seemed like they were had pretty good business and they were saying that a lot of people are just like they just want to like set the phone down and they want to do something else. And I've even seen people have an iPad for like video editing or drawing, where you put on this laminate film on top and it makes it feel like when you draw the Apple Pencil across the screen, it makes it feel rough, more like paper.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So,
Yes.
yes. And then there's some, I forgot what they're called. They're like these new digital tablets. It's not like an iPad, but it like you can handwrite on it and it like helps you take notes and organize it. It's very interesting because people like want the look and like kind of the feel of it of paper. So that's been interesting.
Very much.
Yeah. And then for me personally, one of my former students had told me, I was like, hey, not many people write in cursive anymore. Why do you write in cursive? And he said, because it slows me down just enough that I can get my thoughts onto the paper instead of spinning around in my thoughts. And I was like, oh, that's very interesting. That's cool.
That's an interesting because you look at somebody or the younger generation actually doing texting and such. It's such a fast clip pace and it's abbreviations and instead of falling through with the full thought or the full words, which, and I still believe that thank you cards, handwritten, and could be in
Oh, yeah.
cursive, in the mail, the postal, in an envelope, which is again a item that's die cut, printed, and mailed, is
Yeah.
still the way to do it. Again, people like to get that because it sets you apart from everybody else. Everybody else maybe send a digital thank you. Okay, thank you. And they type it out and put a couple of nice little emojis in there and some hugs and such of that. But to get something in the mail, whoa, this is like a gift.
Yeah, I was preparing an envelope
There you go.
for you
Oh,
right there
there it is.
because I know your birthday's coming up real soon.
Yeah, we will talk about that.
Yeah, I've gotten back into it too a little bit. Like years ago, I had some fountain pens and I sold them when we were buying our house like 8 years ago. And then I got a couple more again, and I've been doing like Mont Blanc offers free calligraphy and handwriting classes. So I've
Oh my
been,
gosh. Yeah.
yeah, it's about once a month or twice a month, sometimes 3 times. Sometimes they skip a month, but it's been really cool to just have a moment for me to be with it. And what was cool in February, they did a little bit of watercolors. So they had you do whatever you wanted, and then they had a brush with water and then spread it around, kind of like right here. Shelly did the paper towel artwork right
Oh
here.
yes. Huh?
Yeah, I could probably zoom into that a little bit.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so it's
Very
one.
nice.
Yeah, some of these are watercolors and stuff, but it's just nice to just take a break from so much typing and
And
clicking.
that's it.
Just recently, I sometimes hold my phone with my left hand and I'm looking at it, and I notice I'm giving myself a little tendonitis in my finger. So
Oh gee, don't do
I'm,
that.
I gotta take a break. And then I got this phone holder, so now I can set my phone down,
Oh, nice.
and then I don't have to hold it so much. And then I can put it on my belly because I'm a little bigger, and so it's like more. So much stuff is online. It's just wow. I guess my phone was still broadcasting to Zoom or something. I was trying
No,
that.
turn
Yeah,
turn
but
that off.
yeah, like I don't need that anymore. Yeah, it seems like some trends are reemerging um amongst everybody really. So that's been interesting. And I don't know. I think you probably feel it too, right? Because in those 30 years in the paper, you probably felt like the ebbs and the flows of the business, right?
Oh, yes, we certainly did. We saw it go up, we saw it go down, and saw it returned. Uh, it could be just various entities. I still see it now because again, in the envelope industry, which is my primary forte for all the years, you say just an envelope. An envelope carries an important message. And we saw that in banking, we saw it in utility companies and such. They would always like give you a return envelope. Now they don't do that. They're cutting costs on that because they really want you to send it via digital, send it via the mail or via the computers, open up an account.
But
But
like,
again, they'll always have in there some little message, some printed message.
yeah, I honestly like I like to receive like a piece of mail that isn't a bill or something. Like
Oh
it's so
yes.
nice. And especially if someone takes the time to, write it out nice or include a cool stamp or whatever, that's always like, I don't know, it makes you feel thought about, seen or heard. And I think people having gone through the thing, I think people like really want that connection. And so with like paper good, like you were saying, like people want to touch things, people want to hold things, people want community, people want to be together, like they want to feel together.
Oh, exactly. And I think the printed word on paper goes way back to the time of Gutenberg on the printing press and such.
Yep.
People like to have the printed word. And even though our phones and our computers have so much tremendous amount of data, I think it just lends itself to a personalization. Somebody is thinking about me. Somebody cares about me to go that extra step. And I always tried when I basically sold to commercial type accounts. If I could not see someone in a particular month, we always wanted to try to maintain contact with somebody, whether it be a prospect or a customer, is continually show ideas for their business. Think about their business. And if you couldn't see somebody, at least send something in the mail. And 9 chances out of 10, you get a comment back from the customer when you send them something.
Well,
Because we don't know, again, somebody you're going that extra mile. And again, it's hard to do if you're doing a mass type program, but at least if it's a small database that you're using, you can actually do that. You just take the time to personalize it and highlight your top prospects if you're doing selling.
And now people have the exact opposite problem of they get thought about so much on Facebook or Instagram or social media that they're constantly bombarded with ads. Whereas back in the paper business a long time ago, it was like, oh yeah, oh, I'm glad they're thinking of me and my business, and I like that idea. And then they're receiving that info. But right now there's so much info that it's like, how do we simplify the info? And
Oh, I would agree.
I think part of that is like people physically touching stuff. You just shift to that.
It's like something of value now that you're getting in the mail or something that's a courier service, something is being delivered. You're going that extra step to think about that individual.
Well,
So I
now,
would,
and like people now don't even want to give out their email addresses for a free download because they're already drowning in information. Like,
I, I had that. I worked for a number of years recently for a nonprofit organization in Arizona, and I went out and actually obtained a business for. We employed about 90 adults with developmental disabilities, and I went out and finding work for them that be brought into our organization. And my manager had me get involved in, and they're all great products, the constant contact and such like that. And when I first launched it, I got complaints saying, oh my God, it's more crap you're going to be sending me in digitally in my inbox.
yeah,
And there's exactly what you're talking about. If you send out an email or you give somebody out your email, thinking, oh my gosh, she's going to sell it to somebody else. The next thing I know, I've got to weed through all this information.
yeah,
So I fully understand. So I found out, yes, it was a great tool to a point, but I still went out and actually did that handwritten note or idea to a lot of my prospects.
nice. Now, do you have any final thoughts on this kind of like coming around again?
I love getting something in the mail. I'll just put it that way. And again, digitally, I get so much now on my own. My wife, Judy, what did you sign up for? And what did they sell? Who did they sell our email account to?
Yeah,
It it's a matter of, I think, balancing, Austin, that whether you do digital or you enter to
okay.
make it successful.
Teas were pretty hot for a while and then they cooled off a little bit, but I think they're going to come back again, but in a little different form.
Yeah, exactly.
There's some people that were having a digital NFT where you unlock it and then you would get a physical good. Like if somebody painted a picture, they take a picture of the make it the NFT. When you buy it, they would send you the physical picture. So that's
There
pretty
you go.
like a digitized way of having unlockable physical content, which is
There
interesting.
you go. Yeah. But it keeps you in
So
contact. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
I think it's like kind of what you're saying. People want to physically touch and hold something. They want to be connected and finding balance between the digital overwhelm and the simplicity of paper or physical contact or good.
I would agree. Balance. Just
Balance,
like in life, balance.
balance. Yeah, I'll end this call recording and I'll text you about the other one I wanted to talk to you about. But
Okay, that'd be fine.
I think I have to let this one like process first.
Okay, I fully understand.
Thanks, Jim. I'm glad
Thanks,
we
Austin.
were
Good
able to
talking to
get
you.
connected. You too.
I will do. Take care. Thanks for all the input on the Zoom meeting.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.